Hi there, Professor K here, and I'm going to be creating a video for the Week 8 Guided Project 2-3 for COMP100. On the screen right now, you can see my contact information and a little bio about me. You can, pause the video later on if you want to uh, read it. But I want to give you uh, an opportunity to go through the Week 8 lab or project for COMP100 using a Mac computer. So let me get things set up here. Okay, so I don't actually have complete access to the SimNet project for the guided project 2-3, but Dr. Whitcamp has provided me with the start file and the instructions. So just as in with every SimNet project, you would go into your modules, and then within the modules, you would go to your specific week. So I'm going to just go down here and simulate this, and I'm going to go into week 8. And it's going to bring up a screen that allows you to look at a video in case you want familiarity with how to use SimNet if you forgot how to do it. Basically, you're going to click on the link down here. It's going to open it up in a new tab. Now, this screen that you see here, you will not see because this is only available for professors, but I'm going to click over here and I'm going to open up the screen that you will see when you log into SimNet. And with every SimNet project or assignment, you have 3 options. You can download. This is where you start from. This is where you upload your file. And you can, if you are done with your file, you can grade it at that time, or you can just upload it and store it in the cloud so that you can have it for later purposes, then download it and continue working on it if you wanted to do it that way. Once you have it completed and you upload it, then you would grade it and you would get the results of how well you did. Now, you can see here that in this SimNet that I chose, there are actually 2 files. There's a start file and there's a resource file. So you want to make sure that if you have more than 1 file listed here that it's required, that you download both of them. Now you have an option. You can download them individually by just clicking on the link, or I'm going to show you that you can download here. It's going to download the first one, and then you say you want to download the resource file. Hit the close, and you're going to see here that you actually got 2 files. 2 files were downloaded. And again, these file names are associated to this SimNet application, this SimNet project, not to yours. Now, I could work with these here, but I strongly advise you do not. What I advise you to do is to click on the Show in Finder or the little folder icon, and you're going to see that it's in your downloads. You do not want to work with things in your downloads, if at all possible, because it's easy to get confused, and you could burn an attempt. So you want to make sure that you take this file. This is your Week 8 PowerPoint file, and you want to move it into the appropriate location. So I have set up, and I've created a video, and I've shared it with you. There of some suggestions on correct file management. So we want to open up a new Finder window. And my suggestion is that instead of it just being stored in your downloads, you want to use the DeVry University OneDrive. And again, I will put a link in a subsequent screen that I show you that you can go to YouTube and you can get information on or see the video that I created on setting all this up. You want to make sure you're using DeVry OneDrive because it will follow you throughout your academic studies at DeVry. It's all your files are stored in the cloud. They're protected. They're backed up. And so you don't have to worry about that. I suggest that you create a folder called Classes Taken. And then within that, you create, either you might have multiple schools that you're taking. So you might have school 1, school 2, and then within that. But if you don't, you would at least under Classes Taken, you would have a folder for the term that you're in. So this would be next term. This would be the 2 classes that I would be taking next term. And within each one of them, I have the same setup. I have a preview week all the way down to week 8. That gives me a repository where I can store things based on the week I'm in, based on the class I'm taking, based on the term that I'm in for the school that I'm attending. Okay, so I'm going to just show you that I have all of this in my classes taught. And I'm going to move this into my, here's my Comp 100. Here's my week 8. Okay, now I have this. I'm going to actually delete this. And I'm going to want to move this file from my downloads by clicking on it, holding, and I'm going to drag it right up here. And that's where I'm going to work with it from. So when I open this file, I'm going to be opening it from here. I'm going to be working on it here. I'm going to be saving it here. When it comes time to upload it, I'm going to know to go to my week 8 folder. There'll be less chance of misplacing my file or grabbing the wrong file. Okay? Okay, so I've opened up the start file. And as you can see, it's got the standard file name, but it inserted a name, first name dot last name in there. Now, this file was given to me by Dr. Whitcamp, so it inserted her name in there. It's going to insert your name in there, and that associates this file to you. Not only does it add it to the file name, but it embeds it inside the file as well. So SimNet is expecting that you are the one to download the file, you're the one to work on the file, and you are the one to upload the file. If anyone else is involved in any of those 3 stages, then SimNet, when you upload it, is going to report an academic integrity violation, and then your professor is going to have to get with you to figure out what happened. So you need to make sure you're downloading the file, you're working on the file, and you are uploading the file. And because your file, your first name dot last name and your student ID is embedded into the file, simply changing the file name will not work. It's still going to read the embedded code inside the file, and it's going to compare that against who's uploading it and make sure they downloaded it, worked on it, and uploaded it. Okay, so this is the instructions for this particular project, and this is what I'm going to be following. So in this project, we're going to insert a cutout people image that's part of a PowerPoint. We're going to apply some text effects, convert text to a smart art graphic, apply some style and effects to that smart art, create a pie chart with a table that's embedded into PowerPoint. We're going to format the table. We're going to then create a column chart. We're going to apply chart styles, format the chart elements, apply a picture, and then lastly, we're going to insert and align text boxes. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over here. So I have it on this screen. You have that screen there. And okay, now you'll notice that when I open the file, there is no banner here saying that this file is in read only, and that you have to enable editing. That is because I have whitelisted or authorized or allowed DeVry University URLs and SimNet URLs within my computer so that it trusts those. Yours may or may not trust them, and if it doesn't, you're going to get a banner here that says you must enable editing. That's an internal protection to make sure things just can't be uploaded and run automatically and cause bad things to happen to your computer. So if you're trying to work on any file that you've downloaded and nothing is happening, check to see if you have a banner somewhere in this area that says you must click here to enable editing to edit this file. All right, so the step 3, we're going to insert a cutout people image. So it says 3A says display slide 1 and click the icons button. So I'm displaying slide 1, but you can see that most of the features here are not available, and that's because I haven't set focus on this particular slide. So I can't do anything to this slide. So once I click on the slide, you can see that now I'm starting to get some of the features and functionality. And when I click on some component of the slide, I get all my editing features and functionality. Okay, so to click the icons button, we want to go to the Insert tab. Okay. And we want to go to the illustrations group, which is right here, and we want to click on icons. Now, these stock images, we want to, first of all, we want to make sure that we want to go to cut out people, okay? So we click the down arrow and we'll see an option for cut out people. Now we want to search, it says find Anthony, A-N. Now you'll notice that in this particular feature within PowerPoint, it is not using a wildcard search. It is looking for you to complete the entire name that you're looking for. So I can't just type in AN and have it find anything that begins with AN. I have to type in the entire name and then it will bring up the name. And the instructions go on to tell you that you can use any option you want. You don't have to use this particular one, but it's really looking for you to use this option here. Okay, and we want to insert it. Okay, and that's inserted the image in there. But again, like I said, it gives you in figure 2-160, it gives you basically a view of what you're going to be looking for and the image that you want, but it also says, note, you can choose and insert any cutout person you want. Now we want to close this stock image pane, and we want to change the height to 7.2. I want to point out something here. Whenever you're working with images, okay, and you want to adjust the size of the image, you do not want to use any of the top, bottom, left, or right adjusters, okay? Because if you do, you're going to change the aspect ratio. So if I was to do that, you're going to see that it's going to make, it makes the image not appear correctly, okay? If I was to try to shrink it, it's not really shrinking it, it's compressing it, okay? So you want to make sure that you use either one of the four corners, because as you adjust it, it will keep the aspect ratio correctly. But here, all we want to do is we want to adjust the height to 7.2. Now you notice that here, we're not too far from the height of 7.2, so I could really use my radial down button and click it 3 times to get to 7.2. But let's say I was way off from 7.2, then I could highlight it and then click 7.2 and tab off of that, and that's going to change the height to 7.2. Now it says for F, we want to click the align under picture format. Now the picture format is only available if you have focused on set on your picture. If I click over here, you're going to see picture format goes away. So I have to have my focus set on the picture, and then I get picture format. Okay, and it says we want to align it, and align is over here. And we want to, I think it's, let's see, I got to scroll up, align bottom. So we click align bottom, okay? But I missed a step, and that is we want to move the image to the right. So let's first move the image to the right. You can see if I move it all the way up, you see the little red dots that are at the very top. That's telling me I'm at the very top of the image. If I move it all the way down to the bottom, it'll tell me I'm at the very bottom. If I move it up just a little bit, you see in the center, that's telling me that the image is now in the center of this slide. So it gives me some, and the same way if I move it over here, I will get, see that? That's telling me right there I'm in the center of the slide up and down. Here I'm in the center of the slide. I'm sorry, this is the center of the slide, right and left. And I'm with the crosshairs, that means I'm in the dead center of this slide. All right, so we want to move it to the right, and then we want to align it to the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to apply some effects to slide 2. So we're on step 4. So I'm going to display slide 2. That's only displaying it. I do not have all of my features and editing capability. So I want to actually set focus on the slide itself, some component of the slide. So it says resize the title placeholder. Well, let's say we weren't exactly sure which one of these was the title placeholder. We have this object, we have this object, and we have this object. Well, how you can determine the which one is the title placeholder for sure, and to make sure that I know that this is in fact the title placeholder, I can come over here to arrange and come down here to selection pane, and it will show me that I have 3 objects: a text placeholder number 5, a content placeholder number 4, and a title 1. So if I click on any of these, it will highlight the specific object, and so I know that this is now the title placeholder. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and it says resize the placeholder to a height of 3 inches and a width of 3.7. So I click here, and that's going to be under the shape format. And here's my height and width. And it wants this to be 3 and this to be 7.5. Okay. And it says now the text should fit on 2 lines. It does. Let me just select the placeholder and click the text effects button. So here's we're selecting the placeholder. This is the placeholder. If I'm clicked here, I'm selecting text within the placeholder. I want to make sure I'm clicking here and just selecting the entire placeholder. Okay, so now we want to be on shape format and we want to go to the word art styles. Okay, this is our colors. This is our color outline, and we want to make sure we're going to the specific, and it wants us to text effect button. So here's our text options, okay? So this is text effects, text outline, and text fill. So with us selected here, to make sure that we get the entire object, right? We want to come over here to shape format. And if I hover over this, I'll get a screen tip. Okay, and the screen tip here says that this is text fill. This screen tip tells me that it's text outline. And this screen tip tells me it's text effects. And this is the one I want. So I'm going to click on, I'm just resizing my instructions here, text effects button, and we want to do transformations and cascade up. So here's text effects, transformations, and we've got to scroll down to cascade up. And it tells me that it's the 3rd option in the last row. If I hover that over, my screen tip says cascade up. And you can see now that the text is now cascading in an upward fashion. Okay. And now we want to click the text fill drop-down arrow. This is text fill, and we want to select the 5th color in the 5th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And that gives us the teal accent 1, darker 25%. Now we want to click the text outline. Let's see, text outline, and we want the text outline to be the 3rd color in the 1st row, and that's going to give us our black background number 2. And then it says we want to position this in the upper left corner. So again, if I want to move the entire object, I want to make sure that I have the 4 arrows appear, and then I can move the entire object, and it looks like I want to have this somewhere like there. Okay, that should look like figure 2-162. And then it wants us to delete the subtitle placeholder. We remember from before that if we're on our align and we go to, sorry, here we go, align and selection pane, we can see that our text placeholder is down here. So now we confirm that. We can make sure we're clicking on it and we can hit our delete key, and that is now gone. Now we're going to be working with slide 3, and with slide 3, we want to adjust all of the text that's bulleted. Well, once again, you can see that none of our editing capabilities are available because I haven't set focus on the actual slide. Now they are, and we want to highlight all of the bulleted text. Okay, so I have all of the bulleted text highlighted, and we want to convert to a smart object, which is on the Home tab, and convert to smart object. And here it says we want to use first smart object layout in the gallery. There's our first smart object layout in the gallery. This smart object text box gives us the ability to edit it in this text box, as opposed to editing the text inside the PowerPoint object. But we do not need that, so we can close that. Now we want to go to the More option, which is always clicking the down arrow in the center, and we want to scroll to the Process section. We're in the List section here. We're going to scroll down to the Process section, and it says that we want to be, let's see, select the increasing arrows process, which is the 5th option in the 2nd row. So here's our increasing arrows process. See the screen tip? It says increasing arrows process. We want to click that, and we're going to see that our image is going to change. And it changes to the new layout based on the increasing arrows process. Now we're going to apply the cartoon style from the 3D group, which again, this is step 5E, and it's again, smart design. Now, because we're on here, we have 2 extra options. We have not only the smart art design, but we also have the format button. But we want to use the smart art design and the smart art styles group, which is here, and we want to find the cartoon style. And let's see where it is. This is simple fill, white outline. Let's see. Powder. There's our cartoon. Okay. Now you see that it's changing the format of our smart object even more. Now, step 5F says select the 3 white shapes. Okay. So to select the shapes, if I click on one and then click on the other, you see I'm only selecting one at a time. But if I clicked on the first one, hold my shift key, click on the second one, you can see now both of them are selected. And I click on the third one and all 3 are selected. Now, I could do this one of 2 ways. I could make these changes to the first one, then duplicate it to the second one, and then duplicate it to the third one. Or by selecting all 3, whatever changes I make are going to take effect for all 3. So we're going to select the shape fill drop down arrow, and this is in the format tab, and we want the shape fill drop down arrow, and we want to select tan, which is in the 4th color in the 3rd row. 1, 2, 3. Here's our 4th color. And this says tan text to lighter 60%, and that's what we want. So that changed the color of the 3 white areas that we've selected. Now it says select the 3 arrows. Now, to select the 3 arrows, if I start here, it's going to be very difficult for me to select the second arrow because this object, the control window around the object, is covering the second object. So what I want to do is click here, hold the shift key, then click here, and then click here. That will allow me to select all 3 of these arrows. Okay, and we want to go to the text fill, and we want to select the 3rd color in the 1st row. And now it should look like figure 2-163, which it does. Okay, so we are finished with this slide. Now we're going to move on to slide 4. Once again, slide 4 has been displayed, but we're not editing it yet. So we want to click somewhere on it to be able to enable all of the functions. And here it says we want to select the 2-column table on the left. So this is the 1-column table on the right. This is the 2-column table on the left. The easiest way to select both columns is to select the object itself. That means whatever I do to this object is going to take effect for both columns. First thing we want to do is verify that the header row and banded rows options are selected. Again, you can see that because we're on this table, we get the table design and table layout buttons or menu options. I'm going to click on table design, and you see here header row and banded rows is selected. Now we're going to click the More button. And here in the More button for the table styles group, we want to apply medium style 2 accent 1, which is the 2nd color in the 7th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2nd color in the 7th row, and there we go. And then we want to select the 1st row. So how you select a row is you wait until the cursor changes to an arrow, and by selecting the arrow that's pointing horizontally, I get both of these first rows. If I only had the arrow selected on an angle, I would only get the 1. So we want to make sure our arrow is selected completely horizontal. I get both the first row for both columns in this table, and we want to click the text fill. So we're going to look for text fill, text effects, text outline, and there's our text fill. And for here, we want 3rd color 1st row. There we go. Now for 6F, I basically want to repeat these steps for this one table here. So we're going to verify that the header row and banded rows are there, which they are. We're going to click the More, and we're going to change it to the 7th row, medium style 2, accent 1. And then we're going to click the text fill. And we want the 3rd color in the 1st row. Now our 3 columns, the 2 in the 1 table and the 1 in the 2nd table, all look the same. And so we're done with this one. Now, step 7 says we're going to insert a new slide after slide 4 with a title and content layout. So all you have to do is make sure you're on slide 4, come up here to new slide, click the down arrow, and find the one that says table and content. So that's going to give, title and content. That gives you a title object and a content object. And so here it wants us to change the slide title to starting salaries selected jobs. Okay. And then it wants us to insert a chart button on the content placeholder. This is our content placeholder, and here's our chart. You can hover over this. The screen tip will give you, I can insert a picture from a file. I can insert a smart art graphic. I can insert a cameo. I can insert a movie from a file. I can insert a table, or I'm going to insert here a chart. And here we want to insert a column, and we want a 2D bar chart. Sorry. Column 2D bar clustered. Wait for the screen tip to show up, and that's our 2D chart cluster. You're going to get the color wheel because it's now taking and it's going to embed the chart into the object, and it's going to bring up a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, which is the table that is associated to your clustered bar chart. Now there's our clustered bar chart, and here is the table that automatically came up. And here you're going to see that I have 4 categories, category 1 through 4 on my chart, and in my table I have 4 categories 1 to 4. I have 3 series in my chart, my table, and on my chart I have series 1, 2, and 3. So this is directly linked to the spreadsheet is directly linked to the chart in PowerPoint. Now we want, it says for 8E, we want to select and delete columns C and D. Now remember, you can individually select them. You can hold the shift key and select the next one. You can click on the first one, hold and drag to the second one. Any of those will get you both of these selected. You want to right click and go down to the delete. You'll notice that this blue line or around it has moved. So it is selecting all of this data here. And now it says we want to replace the worksheet data for columns A and B with the data in table 2-12. Now on a Mac computer in PowerPoint, you're going to be most successful if you work with one column at a time, and each cell that you work with, after you're done editing the cell, you want to hit the enter key. If you hit the tab key, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to type cyber security analyst. Hit the enter key. I'm going to type applications developer, enter key, project manager, enter key, network specialist, enter key. I want to type in computer support specialist, enter key. And now I'm getting this message here because the chart is expecting the table to have corresponding data in both column A and column B. But by doing it the way I'm doing it, there's nothing in column B. So it's saying there's a problem. But we're going to click OK because we're going to correct this later on. I'm going to come back to here, and now I'm going to click enter my help desk analyst and hit enter. You can see, and again, I get the error message. It's a warning. I click OK. You can see this blue line that is covering or is surrounding all of my data set, all of the information I want to include in my chart. Now, if it is not, you want to move your cursor till you see something like this with a box with a left arrow pointing up, a right arrow pointing down, and then I can click and hold and I can drag that blue outline to make sure it's covering only the data I want and all of the data I want. If there's any blank cells, in this case, rows or columns, then it is going to cause errors with your chart. So you do not want to do that. You want to make sure it's just covering your data set. So now I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to change this to 89,000 and this one to 84,500, 73,400, 65,700, 45,500, and 43,000. And we want to insert the commas just as it's asking us to do. Okay. And now the last thing you want to do, now I'm going to show you this first to show you another way. It doesn't specifically highlight it in red, and it doesn't really tell you that you need to do this, but you do want to do this because later on it's going to show you that this should have a different title to it. But you're going to see that if I pull this down, everything that I've entered now is inside this everything I've entered now is inside my chart. So I do have, let me come back over here. You'll see that it's just an Excel table. Everything that I've entered here is in my chart. And now I can close my workbook. Okay. Now I cannot change this chart unless I click on my chart and I edit the data in Excel. This is a great way so that when you create something, you can protect your PowerPoint presentation so that the data cannot just arbitrarily change. Okay, so now we're going to modify this bar chart. Okay, we want to delete Series 1 chart title. Again, if I hover over it, the screen tip will tell me that this is the chart title. A single click on it means that I've set focus on it. Now all I need to do is hit the delete key and my Series 1 chart title is gone. The legend is down here. You can see that I get my, this is not the legend. This is the legend. And I want to click on that and I want to delete that. Now my legend is gone. So, and it wants us to make sure that we've got our chart frame selected to the chart area. This is the chart area. You get the chart design and format. And now we want to go to the format because we want to change the shape fill color to teal. And here's our shape fill color. And the teal that we want is the 5th color in the last row. Here's our last row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that changed our chart. Now we want to change the chart width to 12 inches. Again, I could use the up radio button, but I'm just going to highlight this and change this to 12. Tab off of it. You can see how it expanded it over, but now we want to click the align. And I don't have focus. Notice, I do not have focus on this chart anymore. So I cannot align the chart. I have to set focus on the chart to come up here to arrange, to align, and then we want to align this center. Okay. Now, again, with focus set on here, but now I want to only select the vertical category axis. So these are our vertical categories. Okay, I click on it and you can see that it says my vertical category axis, and we want to change this to 18 point. Now this is our horizontal value axis. See how I get this little box around these horizontal values, and if I hover over it, I get my horizontal value axis screen tip. And we want to change this to 18 point as well. And there's our 18 point. And it should look something like figure 2-64, which it appears to look that way. Now, we're going to move on to step 10, which is now we're going to insert a new slide after slide 5. So as long as I'm selecting on slide 5 and I select new slide, it's going to put it after it. We once again want a new slide with the table and content feature, or table and content layout. I have my, title and content. Title bar and content. So now here, our title bar is employee job satisfaction. Okay, and we want to insert another chart. We're going to come down here and insert a chart object, but this time we want a pie chart, and we want a 3D pie. You'll get the spinning arrow, a color wheel. Again, it's going to open up an Excel spreadsheet. It's going to embed the pie chart into your PowerPoint. Once again, I have 4 quarters here for sales. And if I look at my spreadsheet, 4 quarters for sales. Now we're going to replace the worksheet data with everything that is on table 2-13. So again, once again, we want to work with each column by itself, populate the column completely, and then move on to the second column. And each time we enter data in a cell, we want to hit the enter key. So the first one is very satisfied, somewhat satisfied, undecided, somewhat unsatisfied, and then very dissatisfied. Okay. And when I hit enter, you're going to see that my blue outline did move. So now I'm including all of my data. Now I'm going to change the values correctly. This is 15, 37, 18, 22, and 8. Now, this is one thing that the instructions do not tell you to do, and I'm going to show you how you do it. So let's say if you just followed the instructions, that's what the table says. Everything in red I've edited and changed. I can preview it by pulling this down. I can see I have my very satisfied, somewhat satisfied, undecided, somewhat unsatisfied, and very dissatisfied. I can also take a moment and go to review and hit spelling and make sure I want to begin at the, and everything is spelled correctly, so I know I'm good to go, and I can close this. All right, so it now says drag the chart title satisfaction percent, but my chart title is sales. So it didn't tell us that we needed to change the chart title to satisfaction percent, but it does want us to do that. And I wanted to show you that you cannot change it. You should not change it here, right? You want to change it in your data. And we're going to edit the data in the Excel spreadsheet. Here is where I want to change that to satisfaction percent. Okay, I hit enter. I now pull down. Now I have my satisfaction percent. So my PowerPoint chart is getting data specifically from my Excel spreadsheet. My Excel spreadsheet is accurate. Therefore, my PowerPoint presentation slide is accurate. I can close this. And now it wants us to move this to the top left of the chart area and increase the font to 24 point. Again, I must have focus set on the object and then the 4 pointers, and then I can drag this over to the upper left and change this by going to home and 24 point. I think that's what it wants. Yes, 24 point. Okay, now the legend, or now it wants us to click and add a chart element. Okay, so we're in chart design because we're on the chart. Chart design, add an element, and now it wants to select legend. There's legend, and select it to the right. So it's going to move our legend from the bottom to the right. Now, we are not set focused on the legend. So to increase the legend font size to 20 point, we have to have our focus set on the legend. So our focus is now set on the legend, and we want to increase this to 20 point, and there's 20 point. Okay. Now it wants us to drag this to the bottom right of the chart area. Again, I need to have focus set on it, and then the 4 arrows, and I'm going to drag this down to the bottom right. Let's just go right there. Okay, now it wants us to add another chart element. I can only add a chart element if if I've got focus on the chart, which means I've got my pointers to move and adjust my chart. I go to chart design, I go to add chart element, and now it wants us to select data labels, and the data labels that we want are inside end. You can see that I have none, center, inside end, outside end, and it shows you a little graphics of where the data labels are going to be. You can see on the chart right now, there are no data labels to represent how much this is. If you hover over, you can see this one is 37%, but there's no visual representation on the chart to tell us that. But when we go to chart element and data labels, and we want, let me make sure, inside end, you see that they appear. Okay. Now we want to go to the chart element drop down, format tab. So we're on our chart. We want to go to format, and here's our chart elements drop down. You can see when I hover over it, I get the screen tip of chart elements. Okay, and it says to select series satisfaction percent data labels. So if I click the down arrow, I will get series satisfaction percent data labels. And that's going to give me this representation. And we want to adjust the font size with these still focus set on these. We want to come back to home and adjust the font size to 24 point. And there we go. Okay. And it should look something like 2-164, which it does. Okay. Now we've completed editing our PowerPoint for our data and our visual, our graphics. Now we want to apply some transitions. So we're going to click the transition menu, and we're going to go to the blinds transition effect. So we're going to click more down here, and we're going to find blinds, and here's blinds. So now it's applied it to this slide, but we want to apply it to all slides. And you click over here to apply it to all slides. But it's asking us to change slide 6. So we're on slide 6, and we want to, again, click here, and we want to find the zoom, which is right here, and we're only applying it to this slide. Okay, so now we can save this, and we would normally close this and upload it. But now I'm going to show you how, if you scroll down in your instructions, you should see that you should have 6 slides, and they should look like this. So I'm going to show you how this looks when you go into your option down here to play the slideshow. Okay, so hold on one second. I've got to change which screen I want to share. So hold on a second. Okay, so if I run the slideshow, you're seeing what the audience would see. And so as I go through here, you're seeing the blind transition for the slides until we get to the 5th slide. And we're going to transition. Now it's going to go to the main slide, or I'm sorry, the last slide, which is your zoom in slide. You can see how it zooms in, and that gives you a view of what the audience would see. Now I'm going to change the screen that I'm presenting, and I'll show you the other view into PowerPoint. Which is the presenter screen. So there you can see that on the presenter screen, first thing you'll notice is I have a timer, and the timer gives me a countdown or a time of how long the presentation is running. Somewhere in your academic studies, you're going to be asked to produce a PowerPoint presentation or some type of a presentation that is limited to X number of minutes. This is a great way for you to see how long your presentation is. When you're recording it, you can be watching this to see how long your presentation is running, how long you're on each slide. Let me back this up and go back to slide 1. You're going to see the slide you're presenting here, which is what your audience sees. And then this shows you your next slide. You can add notes here that can give you talking points for your slide. And then down at the bottom, you see all of your, well, you see 6 slides. It's a rolling 6-slide window. So as you progress, I can click here. It's going to change the screen for your presenting audience, and then it shows you which slide you're on. Up here, it shows you your next slide, and then you can continue on through there. If you had more than 6 slides, when you get to your 6th slide, it would then transition to the 7th. But and then you have some editing tools here. And so right now on my computer, I have 3 windows. So my first window is what you were originally seeing where we were editing the PowerPoint. My second window is my second screen is for the presentation for the audience, and the third screen is the presenter window, which you're looking at right now. And of course, when we get to our 6th slide, you'll see that it'll zoom in, and that's the end of the slide. So that's how you control your PowerPoint presentations. And again, if you have any questions on this, I'll put up my original slide, which gives you, hold on a second, it will give you my contact information here. Here we go. And there you can see my contact information, cell phone number, email address, and again, that's a little bio on myself. If you have any questions regarding this, don't hesitate to reach out to me, or even down the road as you progress in your academic studies, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or want to talk about any of your classes. I am more than happy to discuss any of that with you. I appreciate your time. I'm hoping this video was helpful. Have a great rest.